I am Tara Jayalakshmi, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Government First Grade College, HSR Layout. Welcome to the subject Corporate Environment. In this session, I will be teaching you the advantages and disadvantages of a company. Let us know what are the advantages of a company. As I said, a company is a joint stock company where there are a large number of members, a huge capital formation, huge capital, then with a common seal, and it has a perpetual existence, perpetual succession, that means continuous existence. So now let us know the advantages of a company. That is, firstly, financial strength. Financial strength, see, in company, as there are large number of people, there is a more contribution from a large number of members. There is a financial strength. There is a accumulation of large capital, so the company will have a financial strength. Second, economies of scale. Economies of scale. Here, when a business is started by a sole proprietor or a partnership, the economies of scale cannot be achieved. But in company, as a company has a large number of people, large number of members, as it is run in a larger scale, so it has a benefit of economies of scale. So the production, when it is carried out in a small scale, it has got the expenses. When you carry it for a larger scale, any production or a manufacturing activity, when it is carried in a larger scale, it has got its own advantages and disadvantages, but it has more advantages. The same product, when you produce in a larger scale, it has got the advantages. That is called economics of scale. Third advantages of company is limited liability. As I said, limited liability means in sole proprietor and partnership, the both the partner and the sole proprietor has to have is having unlimited liability. That is, in case of severe debts, their personal asset will also be affected. But whereas in company, the shareholder, only to the extent of shares which is held by them, only to that extent they will be liable, not more than that. So that is called limited liability. Next, efficient management. Why in company it is called efficient management? Because the owners are separate, the directors are separate, the management is separate, it is managed by a separate team, separate elected team. So when there is a separate team, it is managed in a very efficient manner. Next is stability. The company is stable. We can see the stability in the company as the company is followed by all the rules and regulation. We can expect stability in the company. Next, transferability of interest. Transferability of interest is, when I have a shares of a Reliance company, I can sell the share to the other company if I am not interested as a shareholder. So that is one of the advantages of company. I can move on to other company. But this cannot happen in sole proprietor or in partnership. What happens if I am starting a business, carrying a business, I cannot just come out of a business in sole proprietor. I cannot do the same in case of company. But in company, what happens if I have invested in a company, I can sell the share and I can move to other company. So there is a transferability of interest. Next is diffuse risk. So risk is diverted. So I will not taking the whole responsibility of the company. Only to the extent of the shares which I have invested, I have invested. Only to the extent I will be bearing the loss. So there is a diffuse risk. So this cannot happen in sole proprietor. In case of any loss, the whole loss is bared by a single person, or in case of partnership, the whole loss is bared by a partners. But whereas in a company, the loss is diffused. It is spread to whole members, whoever who has invested. Next is tax relief. See, in company, there are certain tax relief when you are investing. So that is called tax relief. Next is goodwill. The company, if you are investing in a Reliance company, you will have, the company has a reputed name and there is a goodwill, there is a good opinion of the company. So you can have a goodwill, the reputation of a company, that you have invested in the company. If company is doing well and has a good fame, then surely that has a credit on the company side. Now, in spite of having so many advantages, the company is also having disadvantage, and let us know what are the disadvantages. As I said, the company has to form with all the legal formalities. So it cannot be formed in just fraction of a time or blinking of eyes, or in a span of one day the companies cannot be formed. It has to follow all the legal formalities. Only then the company is formed. So this is one of the disadvantage. Today if I have to start a company, I have to undergo a severe legal formalities. That is one point. Second, lack of personal interest. See, I am the shareholder of a Reliance company. Now I cannot show my interest, my personal interest I cannot show. If I want to make changes, that cannot be made. So, in the directors who have been elected to manage the company, even they cannot show their personal interest because it depends on the majority of the voting. It has got its own rules and regulation there, so there is a lack of personal interest. Third is corrupt management. See, corrupt means showing dishonesty. Sometimes the director may show a dishonesty while in working or in managing the business, in managing the company. Sometimes in order to project the company's well-being, they might manipulate the share prices. So these kind of things might happen in a company. Next is excessive statutory control. Say, as per, if when a company is formed and registered, every year the company has to conduct a meeting. So there are certain, and a director cannot carry its own his decision or enter into contract. A special resolution has to be formed, a meeting has to be conducted. So there are lot of statutory control or legal formalities. But in whereas in sole proprietor or partnership, they are very free from all these things. Next, a delay in decisions. Why there is a delay is, any decisions or any contract that the company or a director who want to enter into, they have to conduct prior, before they have to conduct all this meeting and then take a decisions. So there is obviously this leads to delay in decisions. Next is conflict of interest. If there are, when there are many directors and these directors have a difference of opinion, there is a conflict of interest. Next is unhealthy speculation. Unhealthy speculation in the sense, this is related to the stock prices of a company. When the price of the share, when the share price of the shares, when they are speculating that it is going to be high or a low in future, when there is a unhealthy speculation and the management is also sometimes leaking the some of the information If there is such kind of things that is happening, it leads to a lot of confusion among the shareholder whether to sell off. When you come to know that the companies are going to may undergo a loss, what the shareholder may do, the shareholder may sell the shares, but it is not happening like that. So it is an unhealthy speculation might also happen. Next is social evils. See, companies sometimes, I believe that the company which is formed, it is better for the nation because the company is goes for a larger scale production, and it is according to the new rules, the company has to spend 2% of its net profit uh, for social responsibility. Apart from all these things, sometimes the company becomes a social evil, one of the social evil. How is, when there is a corrupt management, when there is a unhealthy speculation, when there is a manipulation by directors, who knows, and then the company can become, in these circumstances the company might become a social evil to the society, to the country. So this was about the advantages and the disadvantages. These are my references, and thank you. I thank everyone for watching this video. Thank you.